Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Hey, hi there. I'm going to take my glasses off. I was looking at Tom. I don't know why I look at Tom, because it's not like I'm supposed to be looking at you. I should move him over here. I'm just going to grab Tom on the screen and put him closer to you, our listeners and viewers from around the world. All 700 of you viewers and all 30,000 of you listeners, or however many there are. There's a lot of you listeners. Hi, everybody. I'm Don McDonald in Florida. Thanksgiving stuffed. And there in Washington State, somewhere in Washington State, we're not exactly sure where. It's an undisclosed location where the aircraft hang out. It's like the Skunk Works. Mr. Thomas C. Cock, ladies and gentlemen, give him a big hand.
Just call me Tryptophan Tom, and I'll try to.
Tryptophan. Yeah. Okay, I put the glasses back on so I can see the screen. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the program. We're glad you could be with us. And today we're going to talk about prognosticators, people who make predictions, people who predict for a variety of reasons. But I think the main reason that most people make financial predictions is to make themselves rich. I really, truly believe that, because one of the best examples recently is a guy by the name of Michael Saylor. Do you know Michael Saylor, Tom?
I do not until you brought this to my attention.
Yeah, Michael
I've
Saylor.
heard his predictions are out to sea, but I could be wrong.
Michael Saylor is the CEO of a company called MicroStrategy, which was an internet software kind of company that he has the unique record on Wall Street of having one of the biggest one-day losses for his stock in history. During the height of the dot-com bubble, MicroStrategy stock lost $6 billion in market cap in a single day.
Which doesn't sound that much in the time of Tesla, Microsoft at all, but pretty significant.
This was
then.
20 years ago. Yeah, this was
real
a while
money.
ago.
Uh-huh.
And his company nearly went under. It just kind of teetered on the brink with a little bit of cash hanging around. Well, he's decided to do something new with the money. Instead of building a business with it, the heck with that business thing, he's taken all of the company's money, plus some, because he borrowed some, and bought Bitcoin. He's one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin in the world. He has more than 100,000 Bitcoins. It's worth billions of dollars. Now, what does that have to do with predicting? Well, he's in the news. He was in the news the last week telling the press, any members of the press who would listen, that he predicts, and he's calling himself an analyst.
Who isn't?
He predicts that Bitcoin will amount to 7% of the total value of the world's economy within the next few years.
7%?
7%. Now, why would he say that? Could it be to create a self-fulfilling prophecy?
He owns a lot of it. You might want to push the price up.
You think so? Do you think maybe he's trying to manipulate the market a little bit? Because funny, his comments got picked up not necessarily by the mainstream press. The mainstream press picked them up, but tweaked them a little and talked about some of the negative. But the crypto press, publications like AMB Crypto and Coin Speaker and Coin Journal and Coin Telegraph, they have something in common. They're all also pushing Bitcoin. But I tell you, despite the fact that that this guy is just gutsy as all get out, these kinds of predictions and the press picking up on them is really dangerous because you don't know the difference. You're not going to research these guys like we do. This guy his predictions are dangerous for you. They may be good for him, and he keeps buying more. But this happens over and over and over again, and it keeps happening. And Tom, we see it all the time.
Yeah, anytime I hear from Michael Saylor, I think I get a sinking feeling.
Oh, gee.
I'm sorry. Actually, there's another guy that you're going to name.
I thought you wore out all of your dad joke inventory over the weekend.
Kids and grandkids, apparently not. I was just warming up. Because there's another guy named that a lot of people will know. They might not know Michael Saylor. A guy named Harry Dent, because Harry is a predictor on a very regular basis.
Boy, is he bent.
Thank you. And I thought you would have used up all your dad jokes.
Yeah, I had to throw one in there.
Okay, because here's the reason I'm going to pick on Harry. He's got a new prediction.
Does he?
Stop the press. Ring the bell. Run for the hills. Yes, his new prediction is the biggest stock market crash of our lifetime will hit in 2022.
Wait a minute. That is not a new prediction.
It's not for
That's
him.
the same prediction he's been predicting for 10 years. He's been saying every year the market's going to crash.
And this comes from a woman named Jane Woolman Russoff. I don't know who Jane is, and the article is from thinkadvisor.com. But she, in the article, this is part of the reason these people persist, is because Jane either just took the news release and rewrote it or doesn't know up from down, because in her article she says Dent correctly called Japan's 1989 bubble bust and the following recession and the dot-com crash and the populist surge that made Donald Trump president. Wrong again.
No, he didn't. I've been following Harry Dented for years.
And
no,
here's a guy.
Didn't.
Here's a guy I think you should trust. A guy named Larry Swedroe. Larry's actually, I don't know. Again, I don't know where Miss Russ, why she's writing about him, but Larry actually went back and looked at the record. In October 1999, Harry came out with a book, The Roaring 2000s, The Great Boom Ahead, predicted the boom of the decade. The Dow will go to 35,000. What happened? Well, the S&P 500 lost about 1% a year for the next decade, a cumulative loss from 2000 to 2009 of 9%. So that didn't deter old Harry. In January 2006, he published The Next Great Bubble Boom, How to Profit from the Greatest Boom in History. And then, as Larry writes, not long after the publication, we experienced the worst bear market since the 1930s.
Wow.
And
he couldn't have been more wrong twice.
Yeah, exactly. You think just the watch clock thing would have worked. But then his latest effort, The Great Crash Ahead Strategy for a World Turned Upside Down, released in September 2011. Does anybody know what stocks have done since September of 2011? I think they're up about
they've
300%.
pretty much gone straight up. Yeah.
Basically gone straight up. He has been uncannily accurate in predicting things the wrong way.
Oh, he's been an uncannily accurate contrarian predictor.
Oh, and by the way,
whatever Harry says to do, maybe that's why his books sell so well. People are buying them to read them and then do the exact opposite.
And if you want to be closer to him, you could have invested in his AIM Demographic Trends Fund. I do remember this one. Launched in June of 99, made 54% that year, but then 2000 through 2004, the fund lost over 11% per year. It got put out of its misery by merging it into the AIM Weingarten Fund. And then there was the Advisor Shares Dent Tactical ETF with Harry as the co-manager. That fund, by August of 2012, was liquidated. Should you believe predictions? Well, here's the thing when it comes to this. Here's the reason I think people want to. We all want to know the future. We all think we're going to have control if we know the future, right? There's a Wizard of Oz out there that's going to tell us, yes, click your heels together 3 times and it'll work out.
Wait a minute. Did you watch the movie, The Wizard of Oz? You know he was a fraud. He really wasn't a wizard.
That's right. He was hiding behind there with all the gadgets. We all want to know the future.
In a balloon.
I know. And here's part 2. We all have a tendency, kind of like the Wizard of Oz, to focus on the wrong thing. Instead of looking at the smoke and all the rest of it, you should have been looking behind the curtain, because when it comes to many things, we look at the horse race instead of actually the issue. What do I think you should do? Well, first of all, throw all these bums out. Quit paying attention to them. But you can still put the odds in your favor, no matter if Harry's right, wrong, sideways, whatever it is. You can, we've said this before, you can diversify because you own many things. By the way, because Harry had a tough time with the U.S. market, but had he been invested in international stocks, actually the decade wasn't too bad. You can keep your costs low. You can invest in exchange-traded funds now for 0.1%, almost nothing. And here's the other part that you can do. By yourself without the help of any soothsayer, prognosticator, predictor. You can have the right portfolio for good times, bad times, for you. Has nothing to do with what will happen next year, the next 10 years, the next 20 years, whatever, because the truth of the matter that this industry doesn't want to tell you is, sadly, no one has any idea, period, or pardon me, exclamation point. That's it.
No reason. And now we know the reason why we never get quoted in the popular press.
It's exactly because the exclamation point?
No, because we say the same thing
over
and over and over again. And it's not because we don't know of any other possibilities. It's that we know all of the other possibilities, and all of the other possibilities have failed miserably in the long run. Sometimes they get it right for a while, but you would expect from Harry Dent, Tom alluded to this, you would have expected all the predictions that he's making, that he'd get them right about half the time.
Yeah.
About half the time.
Flipping a coin.
You'd expect that.
Nope.
He's not even close to right. He's not close to right 1/10 of the time. And yet he's sold millions of copies of his books. We should just start predicting. Nobody holds you accountable.
And he's telling people what they want to believe, right? There's a lot of people that want to believe doom and gloom are ahead. There's a lot of people that want to believe great times are ahead. So you can write one or the other, I guess, and half the people love you and half the people hate you.
You write the gloomy one, I'll write the positive one.
Nah, I'm more of the positive guy.
I
always walk on the sunny side of the block, as you know. So when I can find the sunny
again, we've
side.
gone through this. You live in Seattle.
There's not much sun.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. What do they call Florida?
The Sunshine State.
Yeah. What do they call Washington? I don't know. Really cloudy.
The Evergreen State. Come on, man.
Because it rains all the time.
Well,
that's why.
Trees stay green.
That's
it's
actually
good.
The Evergreen State is a really, really great marketing ploy. It's like, okay, what can we be when we're wet all the time? Oh, we're green. We're green.
Which is popular.
8-5. I want to give you a phone number. Can I give you a phone number?
Please.
If you want to call us and ask us a question and get the same dull, boring answer, the number is 855-935-TALK. If you want to send us a question and pretty much get the same boring answer, send it in at talkingrealmoney.com on the contact form. And Greg did just that. I have a question for you before we go.
Yes, please do.
Hello, fellas. I think that's us.
That's equal billing. I got to like that.
Yeah. We're in our 50s and have 1.1 million in our retirement accounts, but only a little over 50K in non-retirement accounts. I feel like I've missed out on other investment opportunities by having all of our money illiquid. It got me wondering if there was a rule of thumb that you recommend for non-retirement assets, say 20%. I was thinking I should have 200K, but then I run into the problem of where to put it so inflation doesn't make it worthless. Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. Love the podcast.
Okay, well, let's straighten one thing out. You can have pre-tax, post-tax, brokerage money, and all in the same investments. There's no, in other words, you could own a globally diversified portfolio in any of those three. That shouldn't matter. Number two, around a rule of thumb. I personally would love to see your money split fairly evenly between pre-tax and post-tax, because then when you get to retirement, you can pull whichever pot, if you will, makes the most sense from a tax standpoint. Am I answering the question? Because I'm getting the sense that
I got a couple of little, I'm reading between the lines.
Yeah.
And I see lurking between those lines.
Yes.
Something very interesting. It was the sentence where he said, I feel like I've missed out on other investment opportunities.
Meme stocks, Bitcoin. Oh, there's got to be a real estate investment in there.
Because I don't have a lot of money sitting on the sideline that I haven't been able to get into the hot stuff. We don't believe that you should have any money sitting on the sideline except your emergency money.
In fact, I had a conversation with a new client this week who said, I heard your show on Saturday and you said something about not having cash sitting around. He goes, I know you're talking about me. I said, well, you're not the only one, because there's like $18 trillion sitting in banks that's making the banks a lot of money, because guess what? They invest that money and not you. So no, you're not missing out on anything. But back to what I think is the most important point, I like a balance between pre-tax and post-tax money, because then when you draw on it, it does create a better strategy.
But he already has $1.1 million in retirement.
But he's in his 50s. So he can start now saving.
You're not saying to take that out.
No.
Okay, we got to be careful of that, because and while you probably should start funding things that don't get taxed when you withdraw them, you could do some Roth transferring, that kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, so you could get into a period of time where your income's lower and you could do Roth conversions. Correct.
If it's a choice between funding your retirement accounts that have a tax advantage of some sort and up to the amount you're eligible, and putting it in an outside account, I would choose the retirement account. If you have extra money over and above that, sure, fund a non-retirement account, but invest it the same way.
And if I can add an alternative to that, maybe the best thing in his situation, since he is sort of unbalanced, which you and I know a lot about, the better proposition would be...
How is he unbalanced?
Because he has so much in the pre-tax and so little in post-tax money.
Oh, that unbalanced. I thought you meant the portfolio. Okay.
I was speaking for you and I mentally, emotionally. That's a whole separate topic.
Oh, well, I'm good with that.
What you could do would be, yes, Roth conversions are, of course, very important, but with the post-tax money, you start to build that up, and you build that up, Don, you said make sure you're kind of saving up to what you can in the 401k. What you could do in the 401k is save up to wherever the match is, then take the other money and put that in post-tax, creating, again, a sort of diversified portfolio of taxation when you do retire. That's another idea. Don't want to leave the money on the table. Never.
No,
People leave billions.
You do not need, I want to make this crystal clear, sir. You do not need to have $200,000 sitting in some sort of a cash account waiting for some nebulous opportunity, because there is no such thing. Oh, there are opportunities to gamble, but not to invest.
And we look at them pretty much every day. Even yesterday on Thanksgiving, another conversation. We'll have an additional podcast.
I doubt we will.
Because I don't want my relatives coming back and looking for me.
I doubt we will. Yeah. I don't think you're going to do it, but we'll see. It'd be a great lesson, but I don't think you're going to do it.
Tune in.
All right, all. Tune in every day. Exactly. Every single day now, because we have a backlog of 100 and some odd podcasts that we're plugging in. So you're going to get either you're going to love us to pieces or you're going to just be sick to death of us, one or the other. Let's see. Anything else we need to cover?
No, but we should invite people to sign up for Retire Meet. If you're outside of the Seattle area, you can do it virtually. It's coming up on the 26th of February. The two of us, consumer expert Herb Weisbaum, et al. You can go to retiremeet.com. You can sign up right now virtually. It's all going to be broadcast. Can we call it broadcast? I don't know. What do you call it?
It is broadcast. It's wide casting, so it's broad.
Wide casting. So you can, from wherever you are, you'll be able to see us in living color. Can we say that? Anyway, so I think it's in color.
Certainly not in black and white.
It certainly is. So Retire Meet, February 26th. You should sign up because I think we can only take 1,000 people online or something. There's some limited.
It's limited. I don't know what the limit is. Anyway. It's a pretty high limit. Anyway, go sign up for it at retiremeet.com. Oh, and I wanted to mention,
please,
just on a previous podcast, this is just a personal thing, and it's not a thing I make money on, but I do a short story podcast. And if you were looking for like holiday stories to listen to, I put up 2 Thanksgiving stories, and then I got a whole bunch of Christmas stories that are coming up on my podcast. And they're all family friendly because they all date from before the 1920s. So, there's no bad language. And they're all available on any podcast service. It's called Lit Reading. Go check it out. You'll probably enjoy it. And I know it's a family thing, so you can.
Yeah, I know you'll enjoy it.
Sit around the radio. Sit around the podcast.
Here's a raging endorsement. My grandsons have listened, and they love them. So
now that was Rita Stories, which is my kids' stories.
Ah, okay. Pardon
Rita
me.
Stories, which is kids' stories.
Well, they probably love this one too.
Lit Reading, which is a little more grown up.
Well, lip reading's a little harder on a podcast, but that's a whole other.
Lit.
Oh, with a T. Okay, very good.
Thank you for as clarifying. A T person should know that. Okay, well, thanks for being there. Oh, tomorrow. If you're listening to this tomorrow. On Friday, if you're listening to this on a Friday, Saturdays we take your calls live on our radio show on Como in Seattle.
And you could be anywhere in the world and call us between noon and 2 Pacific, whatever time zone that is for you.
855-935-TALK is the same number. We take your calls for 2 hours live every Saturday. So call us. Thanks for being there. Have a great holiday, whatever, whenever you listen, or just have a great day. I'm Don. That's Tom. And even when we're eating turkey, we talk real money.
Talking real money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future, so past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Apella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?